All right, hey everyone, it's October 5th, 2020. It's episode 2 of Third Coast Gaming Radio. And if y'all want to send us any emails, top of the show today, I'm going to say, hey, thirdcoastgamingradio@gmail.com. If you have any terrible food questions, or if you want to talk about, Henry Cavill's armor in The Witcher 2 for season 2 of The Witcher, Austin Taylor here, he's got some thoughts about Henry Cavill.
I mean, yeah,
Austin Taylor?
I do indeed have those thoughts. I also have thoughts about Henry Cavill in The Witcher.
Yeah. Hey, I like him. You might be opposed. You might have different feelings, but he's chill. He's also got a 6-pack in this season 2 armor.
They gave my boy a 6-pack.
Yeah.
It's a little dopey. I think I can learn to love it, but it's so much.
His shoulders are broader too.
Yeah, they gave him weird, like what is that called? Is that a pauldron? Is that what that piece of the
Yes.
armor is? Yeah, they gave him like seemingly like functionally useless pauldrons for like what a witcher is, how a witcher is supposed to be able to move, but like that's me very much splitting hairs at that point.
Yeah, I like the season 1 armor because it's just like a leather chest piece, and it's got some pauldrons, and it's got, you can see the necklace around it. I'm looking at some pictures right now from season 1 to season 2. I love that first season of The Witcher. That's the only Witcher media I've ever consumed. So
Yeah, I mean it's probably okay. I remember not liking it because it's just a weird mashup of like the first two short story books,
yeah,
and also like really messes with like the timeline in a way I'm not particularly into.
sounds like a bummer. Which book is season 2 picking up from?
So season 2, it's looking like it's going to pick up from like the very first like serialized like book, so it's going to be Blood of Elves.
Okay.
I'm like, so this season's probably going to start with like Ciri and Geralt at like Kaer Morhen and like her Witcher training as a child.
Ooh, I do love Witcher training. That's how season 3 of The Witcher. Blah 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 blah. The
Season
Witcher
3 of
3
The Witcher.
opens up. Season 3 of The Witcher, completely skipping season 2. Oh, no, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, hey, I got this list here. Third Coast Gaming Radio, because of Anchor FM, is now on Google Podcasts, Breaker, Radio Public, and Spotify.
I've heard of 2 of those.
Breaking out. I have also heard two of those. Maybe it'll get to iTunes eventually. Give us 5 stars if we're on iTunes, because you love us, Enough shilling. I need to play Witcher 3 at some point.
You can.
How's your weekend, Dawson?
All things considered, it's been pretty alright,
Just hanging out.
Yeah, hanging out, ended up playing Magic with some friends.
Magic, the
Working
tabletop
on
game?
Magic the
My
Gathering, the
gosh.
card game.
Oh my gosh, I'm so proud.
We played like a 4-person commander game, and
Oh.
at some point someone just basically killed everyone at the table, like nuked everyone.
What'd they do? Did they play a bunch of spells that targeted everyone?
Well,
Or
it was like
destroyed everyone's creatures?
they had a spell that was like every time one of their creatures dies, or like some like value creature of theirs dies, like people lose health. And there came a point where someone like used a spell that inflicted like -5/-5 on just about every creature on the board.
Okay.
And that like ended up killing 20 creatures or something, and that eliminated all but me and my friend who had like set up that first spell that I spoke about. So I got second place by doing nothing.
You got 1 booster pack instead of 3 booster packs.
Yeah.
Sometimes people give booster packs running. I don't know. I've been playing Magic for like 10 years, and I wane in and out, but I got Arena on PC, and having those virtual cards, it's much easier than
I can't get Arena.
I've like I'm sorry. I have like 6 deck boxes, like Magic cases, like where you they're just filled with cards. I have too many cards. Does it not work on your PC or something?
No, I just if if high school is any indicator of like how I feel about Magic,
Yeah.
this could very well be the only thing I end up playing for like a year or two, and I just don't want to do that again.
I feel you. It's the sweet taste of victory is ever present. I played Magic for a while. I went to some little local gaming stuff, and I had fun with it. I don't play Arena too much. I'll get on, do some dailies, and get some cards, but it's free and it gives you a bunch of stuff. And speaking of other games I've played, man, Star Wars Squadrons really came out, and it's pretty alright so far. So I used EA Play / EA Access on PS4. So I paid them $5 for 1 month, and I got a 10-hour trial. So I've been messing
Okay.
around with it.
Like my experience with Star Wars like dogfighting games is really just like the recent Battlefront 2, and I don't have a particularly good I didn't get a particularly good impression off of Battlefront 2. So like what does Squadrons do that's like different?
So Squadrons has a full campaign, and it's got 5v5 dogfighting modes. I think it's the same engine as Battlefront 2.
Yeah, so
Don't
Frostbite.
quote me on that, but it could be Frostbite. So I'm going to start off with how you pilot these ships. So it started me off in the campaign as right when in A New Hope when they blow up Alderaan. So it's right after you blow up Alderaan, and you're a TIE fighter pilot. So the game is only first person. So I'm looking out the cockpit of a TIE fighter, and it's got the the weird window, and its heads up display. It does a really good job of accurately mimicking the cockpits from the movie. Like the TIE fighter has this circle in the middle where it's the radar, and you can see ships in the middle of the radar. And what makes it different from Battlefront shooting is you have 3 different modes of converting energy or power in your ship. So you have speed, you have your firing for your lasers, and then you have your shields. So those are all connected to my D-pad. So if I press left on the D-pad, I'll push energy to thrusters, up is lasers, and right is the shields. I can press down to put everything back to normal. And then in addition to that, you have the throttle, which is on your left analog stick. So you push forward to throttle faster, and you can pull back on it to go slower. And when you're going slower, you can turn a little faster. So a lot of the gameplay is I'm coming up to a fight, I'm putting some shots down on some enemy ships, and if I need to turn around, I'll pull back on the throttle and turn around. All of the aiming controls is on the right analog stick. So you're kind of thinking about that as your camera as like a first-person game. But if you veer right, if you hold right on the analog stick, you'll turn your whole ship around. And that's how you kind of move your ship up and down and left and right. In the space, it's all in space. There's no ground battles. There's no atmosphere you have to mess with.
Yeah.
And then in addition to that, on the left analog stick, you push left or right to kind of trying to think it's kind of how you move your ship around without turning it. It's kind of like I think it's called a yaw. Do you know anything about flying?
I know nothing about flying.
Yeah, I don't know anything about flying either. My friend Anthony, we were playing Battlefront 2 with a lot. He was teaching me. He was telling me a little bit about this. He loves these. Like he has Microsoft Flight Simulator, but on Squadrons, basically you can barrel roll with the left analog stick, going left and right. And then you have some missiles that'll lock onto people. And there's 4 different ships on each faction for the Imperials and the Rebels. So they play similarly, and they all have loadouts, and they all kind of do stuff differently. They're like classes in a shooter. You got any questions so far?
Well, like what like differentiates the classes? Like Because I imagine you have like your standard fighter. I know you have like an interceptor like class. It's supposed to be like the fast one. And
Yes.
I know one of them is like a bomber, but like what's the fourth on that?
Oh, so the fourth one is like a leadership where it's
Ah,
the Imperial has a TIE Reaper, which is the big ship from Rogue One. It's kind of flat, and it has 2 TIE wings on the side. And for the Rebels, they have the U-wing, which is I think also from Rogue One, and it's got its wings kind of shoot out to the back.
oh, yeah, yeah. So like the troop transport that they have in
Correct.
Rogue One.
So you use
Yeah.
those in space, and you can kind of heal people with those or resupply people's missiles. You're slower, you have more health, and then on the TIE Reaper, I can press circle to drop a thing that would disable everyone's like missile locks. So if I fly close to my teammates, I can kind of help them out a little bit. But I was definitely, man, I played some actual multiplayer and I was getting gunned down by some regular ships because I'm just slow. I'm
Yeah.
a chonky boy.
You just got a big hitbox.
So in the campaign, you're the stuff on Alderaan. Alderaan's blown up, and you are playing as a squad of TIE fighters going to like a rebel outpost. Not really a rebel outpost. It's like it's a trading facility, and they're trying to bring out rebels in hiding that might be there. So you're doing like a routine check on this trading outpost, and you show up with your commander or your lieutenant, and he's kind of like your leader figure who's telling you some backstory and stuff. And he's also training you to fly. So you're flying around, and you get to the outpost, and you're being like an imperial, like I'm gonna say imperial asshole. So you're shooting a couple freighters, being like, you're scanning some freighters, being like, oh man, where's the rebels? And the base is talking to you, being like, there's no rebels here. We're just a good old trading outpost. We're not trying to start any trouble, you know?
Yeah, and you do like the Imperial thing of just like, I don't believe you, zap
Yeah.
zap.
All the Imperials are British too, you know. That's all a bunch of the voice actors I got were British dudes, British
Yeah.
ladies. And so there's one ship that's escaping, and I put a couple shots onto it, and then it stopped and it was like, "Hey, we're just normal dudes. Don't worry about us." And then we're like, "Okay, cool." And then then the rebels come out of hiding, and we're chasing them, and it looks like the remember in the A New Hope when the Millennium Falcon's flying through and dodging a bunch of stuff?
Um,
Or is that one of the is that an Empire Return? There's one of them where the
like
Falcon's flying through and dodging stuff.
like asteroids or
It might be in the Death Star run in Return of the Jedi. It's kind of like that. Like I'm in between 2 areas and I'm dodging a lot of things. And I'm trying to shoot at the X-wings and stuff. And then as I'm chasing them, our like lieutenant in command, who's kind of doing the tutorial, defects because he's like, y'all blew up Alderaan and delocated a bunch of people, and the Empire is basically evil, obviously. So he defects, and you start chasing him.
what?
hmm Crazy, I know, right?
Who would
There's
have thunk?
yeah. So the guy who teaches you the tutorial ends up defecting. Fun little twist, and that lets you. At that point, he gets away, and your ship stalls, and then it flips, and you're playing as the rebels now. So you're going through because you get a transmission that a bunch of rebels are being attacked at a trading outpost, which you just did. So I'm in my X-wing with some other X-wing pilots. It kind of gives you the same thing. It'll give you a moment to learn how to pilot an X-wing, and then we all light speed travel out to this trader outpost, and we show up right behind a Star Destroyer, and so we have to get to where the lieutenant was escaping from us. So it teaches you when you're throttling really fast and you're in speed mode, which is on the left on the D-pad, you're charging up a booster. So it wants me to boost when I'm under the Star Destroyer so the lasers don't blow me up. I fucked up the first time and disabled my I'll call my ship nitrous, and the ship blew me up. But you get to the fight and you help them escape, and then it switches, and the rest of the campaign ends up being after the Forest Moon of Endor fight from Return of the Jedi, where you blow up the Death Star, and that's where the most of the game takes place. And you can kind of switch back and forth between Rebels and Imperials.
Right. Now, are you like playing as like set characters, or are you a custom?
You get to create your character in the beginning.
All right, all right.
Had a couple options. You can change your voice. You can change your race. There's a bunch of different genders, non-genders, voice lines. You can, when you pick your voice lines, you can be like a leader one or a scum one. Like they have a bunch of different like dialogue reads for the different type of like the type of space person you're playing as. Like if you're a snarky like cowboy, scoundrel, or if you're like a uptight like imperial like fighter pilot, or if you're like an ace.
Yeah. Okay. I guess
really fast.
Yeah.
You know what's up?
Does an X-wing control, because like I imagine like your like standard fighter class is like an X-wing and a TIE fighter.
Correct.
Do those like control like differently like between those ships?
Okay, I played as an X-wing and I played as a TIE fighter. They both played pretty samey, but the different classes will play differently. Because I think they want to create a similarity between the classes so that it's not unbalanced between the two sides, but every class plays differently.
Yeah. Well, I guess like the question like I guess like the question I was asking is more of like tactile feel more so than like mechanic, right? Like how like does flying an X-wing like feel like the same as like flying a TIE fighter?
Yes, for all intents and
Okay.
purposes, it does. For like the multiplayer stuff, they wanted to make the dogfights be the same, but you can equip them with different loadouts to make them be different. The sounds are really good. That TIE fighter sounds like a TIE fighter.
Yeah, I mean EA's time with Star Wars has been fraught with some true nonsense, but like they've always, I think, nailed sound, if nothing else.
Yeah, that TIE fighter goes zoom, Austin, and it sounds great.
Damn. I really want to do a TIE fighter that goes zoom.
Yeah, man, and the I haven't got to play as the fast ships, but it's the TIE Interceptor and the A-Wing, and those suckers outrun you, dude. They are so fucking fast. Like I was trying to chase it in the TIE Reaper, and I just kept getting blown up. So for the multiplayer matches, the way they focus their stuff, it's kind of like a you have two bigger ships that are your command ships that you kind of launch out of, and then you have two frigates in front of them. And so it's 5-on-5. You can respawn. Everyone picks their class in the beginning. Like everybody can be TIE fighters if they want to. There's no limit.
Yeah.
Except for like thinking about your team composition. But you start out the match and you're dogfighting in the beginning because there's like a meter that pushes and pulls depending on who's destroying more ships. And there's some AI fighters that kind of fly around too. So it's not just the 5 of each of you.
Yes, you have bots.
You got a couple bots.
That's
So
good.
let's say the rebels destroy more ships. Now you can attack the rebel frigates. So you have a health bar and it's A and B. There's frigate A and B and they're both on one side. And then you get a destroyer ship that's going to come over and help you. Now while this is happening, you want to destroy those two ships. But the Imperials can destroy a bunch of rebel ships and push it back to where now the Imperials are going to attack the rebel frigates. And so you're taking laser fire from the frigates a little bit and from the ships that are attacking you. And then after you destroy the frigates, you can go take on the main ship. And once you blow it up, you win. But there's a tug and pull back and forth that kind of feels like a League of Legends thing where you have your towers and then you have the main base. I got my League of Legends reference out of the way because I have to reference it once an episode, Austin.
Yeah, that's fair.
But the matches lasted about 20 minutes. I didn't get a lot of kills because I'm just starting. It's hard. I was looking at a Thrustmaster last night on Amazon that was PS4 compatible. It was like $200, and I was like, maybe if I put 40 hours in this game, I'll invest in that if I end up liking it. But till then, it's hard. Controlling those ships are hard on a controller. Like, I am not used to it at all.
Mm. I'll bet.
The cockpits look beautiful, though, Austin.
I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, it looks real good.
It looks really good. I'm on a
But, like,
PS4 base, and it's so pretty. Play for $5 a month, Austin. $5, get that 10-hour trial.
I might, I might at some point.
Do it.
Do
it.
Okay, now you're doing Sheev, and that's not gonna help either of us.
No, I'm doing the Emperor.
Yeah, that's Sheev.
What?
Sheev Palpatine, that's his name.
He doesn't have. No, it's Palpatine. He doesn't have a first name. It's just Palpatine.
Yeah, he has a first name. It's Sheev
Okay.
Palpatine.
What expanded universe is this from?
This is from the
Phantom
movies.
Menace?
From the movies that we have all seen that Disney has not decanonized.
Oh yeah, the prequels. All right. You got any more questions about Squadrons? Because I played, I played like 4 or 5 hours of it. Anything that I didn't cover? Any feelings that you're having about it?
I mean, from what I've seen, I guess one question is is the campaign like a good tutorial for like going on the multiplayer? Because my experience, like something like this, I feel like there's a lot of dynamic behavior like that with players in games about like flying aces that you just can't program into a multiplayer.
Yeah, the campaign, from what I'm hearing, is about 8 hours, and it's all story filled. It's all voice acted. It's all post Endor stuff, and it's teaching you a bunch of different things that you're gonna need for multiplayer. To answer your question.
Yeah.
But I did the tutorial and went straight in the multiplayer because I was curious and I wanted to get my feet wet in that. Because as the Call of Duty campaigns treat you, you don't touch the campaign, you go straight into multiplayer because we're all monsters who just want to play in the mud,
I mean, I've never skipped a Call of Duty campaign, and in a real way, I probably should have.
Yeah. But it's $40 right now. It came out October 2nd. It's on PC, Xbox One, PS4. A bunch of reviews are coming out too. It looks like it's sitting at about an 8, maybe a 9 at the high stuff. It's got VR support and Thrustmaster support on PS4, which is cool. I wish I had PSVR because that would blow my little Star Wars fanboy mind to look around that cockpit.
I definitely couldn't do VR with this. This would absolutely destroy me.
Yeah. From what I hear, having a stable cockpit like that tricks your brain into thinking you're like in piloting something. Because it seems like people were getting motion sick because their brain thinks they're walking in a weird way or falling in a weird way. So who knows? But all right. I played a little bit more Genshin Impact too. It's okay. I got to get my anime waifu hours in, or they revoke my Crunchyroll card.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. People they need to do their anime magic, or else Crunchyroll's gonna come for you.
Yeah, it's true. The more I played, I got to a couple of the shrine equivalents, and I got 2 new characters, and I learned about how the game will gate your progress. It wants you to do open world stuff before you progress certain parts of the story. So you have like an adventurer rank that'll go up as you do some side like puzzles in the open world or find towers, and then it'll let you go do some more shrines or some of the main story quests. And then the shrines are level gated too, so I think I'm level 15. But when you start the game, you get a bunch of stuff that'll just like you can just feed your character books, and they'll get smarter and a higher level. It's really weird.
So now I'm just imagining anime children like slowly like nibbling on books.
Yeah,
Until their magic does more.
Yeah, in schools you're just eating books to become stronger. That's how knowledge works.
I mean, that's what I did.
Yeah, I like barbecue sauce on my books. How about you?
I was more of a ranch.
Mm. Did you dip your pizza in ranch? What's going on?
No, I didn't do my pizza and ranch, you heathen. Only my books.
Okay, okay.
You
So
know,
I love me some pizza ranch.
needed to needed to counteract the elitist takes of fine literature with the homey nature of a good side of Hidden Valley Ranch.
Of course. Ooh, Hidden Valley Ranch tastes gross. Speaking of Hidden Valley Ranch,
Oh, I mean, I'm
I
sure that's just the only one
I
I know.
I can only buy. I'm an elitist ranch consumer, and I only want the ranch that tastes like you're at like a local pizza place. That good fatty tasting ranch.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's terrible for me. HEB has a pretty good brand. That's like it's got some probiotics because it's made with the yogurt. Yum. So what you been playing this week, Austin? Let me know
Uh,
what's
with
going on.
me, I've really like I woke up like the day after our pod, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna really get into some stuff, right? So, before I get into like what I actually played this week, I'm going to tell you the
Uh-huh.
story of Count Ulfar of Leon in Crusader Kings 3.
Oh my gosh,
I went back.
you went back.
So Count Ulfar is he's the governor of Leon, which is a small province like on the coast of France. And I immediately start. I've got a deficit. I have no prestige. I got to marry my kids off
Hmm.
so that way my neighbors will think well of me.
As one should.
Yeah, and so I'm doing this for about 30 minutes trying to find the right way to get this done sort of thing. Um, I have to convert my county to Catholicism because none of my neighbors like me because I'm not Catholic.
Oh yeah, they're gonna
And
start a crusade on you, Austin.
yeah,
You
and
better watch that out.
as soon as I start the conversion process, my neighbor immediately declares war on me.
Shit.
And
So, are
he's got
you a
like
county or a duchy? What are you?
I'm a county.
Okay,
I'm a
cool.
singular county.
Yeah, yeah. So when
Um,
you die,
I'm
one
done.
kid will get the biggest plot of land. I think that's how it works.
No, that's like a kingdom. Like as a county, I am just like I'm the smallest thing that you can divide land into.
Okay, but I was listening to someone talk about this, and when you have kids and you have like two or three counties, your kids only get your counties are split up between your kids.
Yeah,
Like everyone gets one or something,
yeah,
and then you just continually get fucked until you're a duchy.
yeah. The thing is like that would have been the case if I was like more than one county and if like I hadn't immediately been taken over by my neighbors.
All right, so your neighbors
Um,
invaded you.
yeah, my neighbors would invade me with their army of about 800. I have an army of about 300.
Hmm.
So it's a real shit show. All in all, far lasted about 30 minutes before his reign was shattered, his children made homeless,
Oh no,
and
the
his
power of
daughter taken.
religion didn't save your county in wartime.
I didn't have enough time to convert to
Mm.
Catholicism.
Heresy. That's what I
Yeah.
say.
So that was my 30-minute dive into Crusader Kings 3,
Oh man,
where I
what
then
How many kids
left.
do you got? How many kids you got?
I had two.
Yeah.
I imagine they were both either executed or um, put in prison
Mhm.
somewhere.
So why did your neighbors invade you? Oh, it's because you weren't Catholic. Did you
It's
just
because I
start a
wasn't Catholic.
game trying to get moving forward, making some moves, and your neighbors were just like, "Nah, these guys are heretics. We don't need this kind of stuff in our
Pretty much,
area."
yeah.
Mm,
And I was like, and the game was like, you can declare 5 different wars. I said, I don't have enough people to support 5 different wars.
mm.
Um, and yeah, that's that's it. That was it for him. So then I went into Outer Wilds.
Oh yes, this is the traveling from planet to planet Outer
Yeah,
Wilds.
yeah.
Okay.
So this is a I think this is what 2018, 2019 game by Mobius Entertainment, which is a studio started by. Did you ever watch Heroes,
A little bit.
the show? So this
2019 game
studio,
also.
yeah, 2019 game. So the studio, Mobius Digital, was started by the actor who plays Hiro Nakamura in Heroes.
Hmm. Let me see who that is.
Um, team,
And they were all going to university together, weren't they?
I think so. I think that's like part of the story. Like this is like an idea that they had like in university.
I looked it up. Masioka.
Yeah, Masioka, I think is that
Okay, cool.
pronunciation.
And I remember there was some game jam going on at their college, and they were making some tech demos,
Yeah,
and they were like, "Hey, we should make this whole game."
yeah, yeah. And so like the game starts out, you are a astronaut in a like space program, and you're like the fifth person they're gonna send up into space. Um, and so you have to like you start out, you go around, you get the tutorial on how to move, how to jump, what like the space in this game is like. Um, and then a statue looks at you, funny,
Oh
and
yes,
something weird happens.
and then the space magic happens.
Yeah, and then we immediately start with space magic. The statue looks at you funny. You get a bit of a flash, but it doesn't seem like anything. So then you go into space, and you get to explore this little clockwork system uh, with like a few different planets and moons. This one really funky looking thing far out called Dark Bramble that nobody likes to talk about.
Oh yeah, spooky trees. And the whole gist of this game is that the sun's gonna blow up in 20 minutes after you leave
20,
the
22
moon,
minutes after you launch for the first time, the system blows up
and then it turns
because the
into
sun
a
goes
death
supernova.
loop, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, because turns out that statue that looks at you funny, that is sending your memories backward in time.
Should get Christopher Nolan on making a movie about that.
We don't need no,
It'll
we don't.
be that'll be the idea for Tenet 2 is sending your memories back in time, but not the people. But I've dabbled with an hour or two of Outer Wilds. I wish I had the patience. So I got to a couple planets and couldn't figure out the puzzle, and then I had to
Yeah,
restart, and I was like, I'm too lazy for this right now. But that game is beautiful, and I love how the solar system is constantly in movement around you while you're visiting these small planets. The whole thing is just moving
yeah,
while you're playing it.
yeah. It's this like wonderful like clockwork galaxy that is just or solar system that is just dope in like every way. Like the first place you go. Like, do you remember the first place you went to?
I probably went to the moon and looked at some weird
Yeah.
statues that I was trying to rotate around to get something to line up. And I think you have to do that later after you do some other stuff.
Yeah. So like the first place I went was like the Ash Twins.
Mm.
Um, and like the Ash Twins is like just indicative of like some of the best stuff in the game. Hold on. Where like you have to get to the Ember Twin like immediately
Mm.
because as soon as you leave and like a few minutes after you get there, the Sand Twin will immediately just like start pouring sand into the Ember Twin.
Oh, it sounds
Um,
like a hourglass
yeah,
that's
so it's a
gonna
real
bury you
yeah.
alive.
Yeah, and like the environment, like the city, there's a city on the in-between that is like underground, and you have to, as soon as you get there, like just start running into the city because like in a few minutes it's going to be completely submerged in sand. You're not going to be able to investigate it.
Huh. I think the other planet I went to, I don't even remember. I might have flipped around Earth or the home planet in that game and found some weird cave.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I love how cobbled together all the spaceships and spacesuits are because they all look like not NASA suits. They all look like duct taped and wood pieces and delightful.
On first look, it doesn't look like any of this should work.
Yeah, which
And I
adds a lot of
realize,
charm to it.
yeah. And like, if you go to the moon, like I think the first dude you see is just not wearing a suit at all. He's like sitting at like a campfire roasting some marshmallows and like humming on the moon.
I love
But
that
he's
stuff.
okay because there's like some trees around him because like to this game, like it's a game telling you that if you have trees around you, you have oxygen.
Oh, okay. I like a little. Here's a weird thing. Go talk to someone, and then hey, you learn about um systems in the game while also looking at this dude cooking marshmallows. It's fun.
Yeah, it is like genuinely like one of the best games I think I've ever played
Gosh,
in that way.
maybe I'll have to install it. I think it's still on Game Pass.
It might be. I bought it on Epic a while back, and I couldn't touch it until like I got back home from university.
Cool. How far did you get in this playthrough anyway?
I I'm like my total playtime is like 23 hours. I am at a
But
point
but you started a
with
new game, right?
no,
No.
no, I've been like working on this playthrough for a good bit, mostly
Okay.
because I'm at the part where I have to go into Dark Bramble,
Okay.
and Dark Bramble's got some shit in it.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, it sounds like Dark Bramble is perfect for, October, getting your spooky vibes. Does that sound about right? I don't know what
I
Dark
mean,
Bramble looks like. Maybe I'll have to
yeah,
Google it really fast. Let me take a look.
yeah. So like, I mean, I can like give you like a brief thing with Dark Bramble. Is it is actually like a planet that has been broken from the inside out.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
Is there a tentacle
by
monster in there?
there are monsters in there.
Oh.
There are there's a specimen that you can find in the museum on Temperhearth, which is the planet you start on. There are anglerfish in here that are blind, but if they detect you, will eat you. And they're huge and horrifying. They have really big teeth. They are scary. I don't like them at
Mm,
all. I don't really like that they're in this game because up until the point you go to Dark Bramble, there are no enemies
mm.
in this game, and it's real chill. But then you go into Dark Bramble, and suddenly it ain't.
Sounds like your difficulty checkpoint right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, and it's just like,
Gotta check the player's skill.
yeah, and there just comes a point where that's
That looks creepy as fuck. That's all I'm gonna
yeah,
say.
they're so
If you haven't
fucking
seen
much.
Dark Bramble, Google Dark Bramble Outer Wilds. This planet's sick.
Yeah, and Dark Bramble is actually like really cool because like the entire thing in that place like distorts the laws of physics.
Hmm.
So like it has like nodes that you go into, and these nodes like can exist in like two places at once. So like if you shoot a probe into one of these nodes, you will get like a duplicate signal from somewhere else in Dark Bramble because like physics will have like made it shift or something. I don't know the exact science of it, but it's this really cool thing.
Cool.
Um,
And if that game had
Otherwise,
VR support while I was in Dark Bramble, I'd probably have a heart attack.
oh,
Oh yeah, think about it. Think about it.
I don't want to.
It's cool. Any other Outer Wilds thoughts you haven't told the world about?
Uh,
Tell me. What's your favorite
Um,
thing about Outer Wilds? Why do you keep coming back
oh,
to it?
I mean, it's just like the aesthetic is wonderful. I think just the workings of the solar system are fantastic. The fact that it is a game like time loops are already like I think pretty interesting as like as a mechanic. And the fact that this is like a puzzle game where you're not getting new tools as you go around, right? Like this isn't like a Metroidvania where you find an area that you can't get into because you don't have like the right blaster or something or whatever you do in like a Metroid.
Yeah.
Um, this is you are always equipped with the ability to get into any area of this game. You just do not have the knowledge of how these things work until you investigate them.
Okay, that's kind of the Breath of the Wild thing, where you don't know how to do stuff when you get places, but you kind of learn it. Same as The Witness, that puzzle game from by Jonathan Blow and his team.
Yeah. And like the thing there is like with like the witness comparison, it's like it's not nearly as obtuse because it's not like trying to teach you a language.
Yeah,
Um,
it's trying to
it
teach you what is Outer Wilds trying to teach you.
well, I mean, Outer Wilds is just trying to teach you is just how the solar system works, really.
Yeah, and I
Is
think
like
that's much more
how
tangible.
yeah, because you're observing it all the time. Like you need to understand how Brill Hollow breaks, so that way you can successfully explore it and like get to certain areas once it has broken up.
Yeah,
You need to understand how the storms on Giant's Deep work, so that way you can get access to like the ultimate like some like part like the first part of like the game ending like puzzles, and you need to understand what teleporters look like
okay.
in this game because those exist. And once you know how to find them and what they look like and how they work, you begin unlocking like the real stuff here.
Sounds exciting. I would like to compare this to our first experience with No Man's Sky, which we were trying to play because it was on sale, and I was trying to find something chill to play.
Yeah,
We load up No Man's Sky, and it puts me on an ice planet, and the ice planet's trying to kill me, and I have to go get sodium so I don't freeze. Now, the game is telling me this, but put me on a chill planet so I can hang out and look at some life. Like, the opening to Outer Wilds is so chill because you're just hanging out, kind of learning the controls. And then you join my game in No Man's Sky, and you're trying to get to me. And then when you show up, I'm pretty much dead. Well,
yeah.
I think that was our first run of it.
Well, I mean that's because like No Man's Sky is just fundamentally a very different game.
Yeah, which in people's minds, when that game was coming out, I think they wanted this chill exploring game, and I think we got that more with Outer Wilds. But that's just my hot
Yeah,
take.
I mean, like you definitely did because like the Outer Wilds is just about this experience, right?
Yeah.
Like up until you get into Dark Bramble, um, you're you're good. You know, like it is just this really chill game. Like you're expected to die. Dying has no real consequence. But No Man's Sky was like fundamentally like a survival game, and they have a creative mode to where you could ignore like
Hmm.
most of the challenge in that game,
Yeah, I was
which
thinking about
is
that if we get back on it.
yeah, which is a good mode of that game. Um, but like the game was like made as a crafting and survival sim with like space
Yeah.
in mind.
So there's a really good quote. I'm not going to quote this exactly, but Abby Russell from Giant Bomb says if she could erase her mind and replay Outer Wilds, she totally would. And I feel like that perfectly exemplifies how good of an experience this is for you. Now we're going to get to
Absolutely.
Abby Russell more in the news because,
Oh,
dear God, she got
is this
St.
news?
Vincent to play Fortnite with her.
Is this news
It
now?
is. I'm gonna say that's some pretty good news. We'll touch about it a little bit when we come back from our break. Until then, we'll be right back. All right, welcome back from your break. You know, we got some news to talk about. You know, as we were alluding to, Abby Russell from Giant Bomb played Fortnite with St. Vincent. I had her Wikipedia page open.
Abby Russell's?
No, Annie Clark from the known
Yeah,
professionally as Saint Vincent,
yeah.
who formed her band in it says 2006. New York artist, known Fortnite player. I think Abby Russell from Giant Bomb was a fan, and she started a series where she was playing Fortnite. The title of the video series is just playing Fortnite with Saint Vincent, so that she could eventually let Saint Vincent or Annie Clark know that she also likes Fortnite.
Yeah, she's
Which,
down to play Fortnite.
yeah, that was a cool video. I think it came up at like 10 o'clock, 10 p.m., 11 p.m. last night.
Yeah, it was like 11:30, I think, because I was like up watching a stream of like a tabletop RPG, and then I found it on my YouTube feed.
It was delightful. Annie Clark is very funny
Yep.
on stream. I
It was a
appreciate.
real hoot and a half that video was.
Yeah, and I honestly, Austin, I'm gonna let you know I'm ashamed of this, but I re-downloaded Fortnite
You
because
don't have to be
that looks
ashamed of
kind of
that.
fun. I want to mess around with that, Austin. But I don't know, man. They were talking about a couple different TV shows, and Annie Clark was just kind of playing on her Switch, holding it in front of her face while she was talking in her microphone, and it was very funny. Abby Russell, pretty good at video games, you know. She's like, "Hey, here's a bunch of guns. What guns you want me to give you?" It was funny. I liked it.
Abby Russell was cycling through guns in that video like no business. It was pretty good.
Yeah. And then I guess what had happened was Annie Clark's PR person found out about it and was talking to Giant Bomb. They haven't released any details except what they talked about in the video, but they were kind of saying that this would be probably be a fun video, and it was. I'm into it, man.
Yeah. I imagine like they had reached out to Abby/Giant Bomb like a while ago, but like I imagine there's like scheduling is in itself a whole thing, and also like that feature probably didn't want that feature to end too soon.
Yeah. But let's see, Crossplay. They were playing from Switch to PS4. It was pretty cool. I was into it. I onto the news on the coming up from GameSpots and the CNETs of the world. I wanted to talk about they had a hands-on with the Series X from Jeff Bakalar. Got to mess around with it. Load times are way faster. Like he was trying 2 different games on the Series X, and like Red Dead Redemption 2 took about 30 seconds to load on the Series X, where it took about 2 minutes to load on the Xbox One X. And they were messing around with quick resume. They got to play with the controller. It's pretty quiet apparently. Did you look into that at all?
Yeah, I read this write-up you sent me by Dan Ackerman.
Yeah.
And they didn't get to mess with like any like next gen games. Everything that they messed around with was like out now. But like that's like fine, like that's good. Like the Xbox Series X and like S are not like about hard like new like cutting edge games necessarily, as much as they're like trying to create like an ecosystem that like a multitude of games can be played on.
Yeah, and I think this preview process where Xbox was just sending people you can't play the new games, but you're checking out how it works with cross compatibility or previous generations. That's a really good move by Microsoft.
Yeah. Like if I don't know, man. They're like when I see like a bunch of Xbox like these like Xbox stuff on here, like what is it? Like the Red Dead Redemption save like took 30 seconds to load on the Series X. In their observations, their quick resume lets them jump between like several games, like the Michael Higgum from GameSpot had like 4 different games running at once using quick resume.
Huh. I'm
The
into
fact that
that.
the controller seems pretty like good, even like, and that's like not hard to inference. It's a lot like the Xbox One controller.
Yeah, which has the amazing vibrating triggers for racing games. Oh man, I want a Forza game for the Series X really bad.
Yeah, like it's just like people talk about like the Xbox Series of like Xbox Series and like question like why you'd buy an Xbox right now, since a lot of what's coming onto the Xbox is also coming onto PC.
Mhm.
And I don't know, like just the fact that this seems like pretty stable and can like play like a wide variety of games that like I don't think the PS5 at the very least hasn't advertised like that functionality yet.
No, like I want to get into like the PS5 basically is only playing games that you can play on your PS4. The Series X, you can get the original Xbox 360 and Xbox One library, which is a great library. I love it.
Yeah, like it's just like if I needed a console like right now, like if I needed a console right now, like the Xbox Series would probably be the one I'd be going at right
Yeah, and right now, as we get in closer, I think I'm okay with having a PS4
now. Yeah.
for I'm waiting for an IP to come out on the PS5, but I think at launch I'm gonna get a Series X, and because it's got the disk drive. I need the disk drive, and I need the storage space. And there's a picture of these two on a table with the Series S and the Series X right next to each other, and it's cool looking. They both look really cool. They're just rectangles. One's a little thinner, one's a little chunkier.
Yeah, like it looks like the Series X is like literally twice the size of an S.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna wait to see if they have any problems with the Series X running. I'll probably pick one up and just use Game Pass on it and go load some
Yeah.
games really quick. I don't know if they've talked about if your saves will transfer over. I know PS5 was having a couple weird things about that. But yeah, wait and see.
Yeah, well, like it's certain games with like the PS4 and PS5, right? Like, I think Miles Morales is like the only one they've been able to confirm so far.
Yeah, to have your save transfer from PS4 to PS5. I think that Xbox will probably have a cloud solution if that ends up coming through. Any more thoughts on the Series X previews that were going around?
Um, I kind of want that controller.
Oh, that controller's really pretty. You can use it on your PC.
I
Let's
know, like,
go.
yeah, that's like I bought like I do have an Xbox One controller,
Yeah.
which I bought specifically because Halo was coming out on PC.
Ooh. Yeah. We should play some Halo today.
Like we can.
All right. Yeah, that they have nice controllers. Like my Xbox One controller right now is a little cracky because I
Yeah.
think I've dropped it one too many times, but it still works. The triggers get a little stuck, but I love that Microsoft does the batteries because I have rechargeable batteries that I just throw in there now. And
Yeah.
my PS4 controller does not last more than like a couple hours.
Yeah. Like like the only reason I haven't had to go out and buy like another PS4 controller at this point is because when I bought the Spider-Man Pro, it came with a controller.
Oh yeah,
And that's like the only
smart,
one I can use for more than like 2 hours now.
smarts. All right, I wanted to go through. We kind of talked about the Star Wars reviews that were coming out. You know, most people are giving it 8 and 9. It seems like it's doing pretty good. It's on. You can do a 10-hour trial on the EA Play, and I think that EA Play is launching with the Series X as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that's our quick hit into talking about Squadrons again. What's it? All right, after talking about it, how are you feeling about it? Are you curious?
About
Do you want
Squadrons?
do you want to take that trial with me? What's up?
I mean, like I might do the trial. I might. The thing is like I've never been like big on dogfighting
Oh yeah,
in games, like without like even like without proper equipment, like a thrustmaster sort of thing. I've never been great with like using a controller to control any ship. And my past experiences with like Star Wars dogfighting is like Battlefront 2, both versions of that really.
okay,
And in the old Battlefront 2, all I did in a dogfight or like a space battle was get in a gunner ship or the gunship because you can spawn at that and
yeah,
then fly it into the enemy ship
yeah.
and then just like kill people inside the hangar because
Go destroy those engines and
yeah,
shields.
I'm much better at
I remember
shooting
that.
guns
Yeah,
that can fit into my hand than I am at shooting guns I have to sit inside of.
yeah. Thankfully, I saw my friend Anthony playing. There's a bunch of AI battles you can do just against computers, and there's the campaign. I need to see if the campaign is co-op. I'm kind of curious, but Squadron seems cool. We'll see how the monetization ends up going through because EA likes to put loot boxes in. So we'll see. We'll see
Uh,
what's up.
yeah, I think the monetization of Squadrons will be fine.
Yeah, I think $40 is a little much. I'd rather that game to come to like a Game Pass, and or say a free version that just gave you one mode to play, and then if you want to get the full version, But if you got the free version, you wouldn't have the campaign as a tutorial. So I don't know. I think they should do free versions of stuff. Apex did so well, and Fortnite, PUBG wasn't free, but you got me. I want to go over the new games that are coming out this month, the big ones, not weird Steam releases. So I'm gonna start the beginning of the month because October 1st was Super Mario Brothers 35, and then I guess Crash Bandicoot 4. It's About Time came out October 2nd, and then Squadrons was also October 2nd. And then we're gonna have a gap for bigger stuff until Watchdog Legion comes out October 29th. And then Pikmin 3 Deluxe is October 30th. Do you know about any other games that are coming out in October? You gave me a when I said that. What's up?
I mean, like,
Let me know.
I don't know, like talking about like I don't like know other games, but like assigning like value like discussions on like the big games that are coming out is always something I'm a little wary of, considering like one of them is just like Watch Dogs. Welcome to the hashtag resistance.
Yeah, welcome to the hashtag riots that were happening a couple months ago.
That's
weird time for that game.
No, I mean I don't know. Like I don't know of anything that's coming out like actively this month. I think Baldur's Gate 3 is
Okay.
supposed to be coming out this month. Because they pushed it back. It's supposed to come out at the end of September. They had to push it back for, I believe they said, translation purposes.
Okay.
Like something like that. I don't know if they have a hard date for it right now.
Early access. Yeah, I'm looking at this on Eurogamer, but I'm getting an ad. What's up? You can sign up and
yeah, so it's coming out October 6th. So
yeah.
it's coming out tomorrow on early access.
Oh, nice. Maybe my PC will run it. I'm curious.
And that's about the only thing that's like got me particularly excited.
Yeah, I'm definitely not gonna pay $60 for Pikmin 3, but Pikmin are adorable and I'm way into it. And it's about time for Crash Bandicoot 4, but I'm a Spyro kid, so he looks cool. He's got his jeans, his jegs, his jean shorts. People are happy about that. Neocortex and Dingo Dial. Dingo Dial's my homie. I'm just throwing this right now. Me and Dingo Dial. He's the crocodile dingo hybrid that Neocortex made. And there's some party game for the PS1 that's like a Mario Party game, and that's who I always picked because he's cool. And he's just like snarling like, "Hey, I'm Dingo Dial." That's it.
All right, yeah, and there's okay, like this page is actually loading for me now. So then you have stuff like Ghost Runner's coming out on the 27th, which is a like platforming action game that is kind of like a Hotline Miami, like first person, like you run through like environments, do some wall running, kill people, and can die in one hit. Yeah, like a little Mirror's Edge going. I bought this at PAX because they were doing a demo, and I thought it was really cool, and I ended up buying a Steam key for it.
Oh, nice. Were they just selling Steam keys at PAX?
Yeah, they were selling like Steam keys to buy it. It's like developed by 3D Realm, which was like, probably should have looked at some news beforehand, but yeah, I'll be playing that on the 27th because it'll be showing up in my Steam library.
Cool. I'm pretty excited. I'd mess with it. I like those first person like free running games.
Oh yeah, it's like it played pretty well. It was pretty cool.
Me and Dying Light are way into each other. Now so Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remaster ended up getting teased by Amazon. So it was listed by Amazon. And this is and then just now today we got a crossplay for it. And I think Hot Pursuit is the PS2 generation one.
Hot Pursuit. I'm
It's a
pretty
it's a
sure.
2010 game. There it is. 2010 Need for Speed game. It was kind of one of the first sets of Need for Speed games that were coming out on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. I didn't play that one, but played the one right after it, which was Need for Speed Most Wanted, which is 2011 or 2012.
Yeah.
And it kind of uses the same driving engine.
Yeah, so today we got the date launches on the 6th for the remastered of Hot Pursuit
Was it the 6th of October?
of November.
Of November.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I
For
didn't see the release date yet, but it's looks like higher end PCs can do 4K at 60 frames per second. I like those open. I like for racing games. I really like the open world type ones like that, where you can kind of mess around and then do some races when you want to. Yeah, the one I played, Need for Speed Most Wanted, was 2012 by Criterion. Yeah.
It's not like the whole thing here is just like you're like doing street races and trying to out drive cops, yeah?
Yeah, because you don't want to get busted because you're
Hmm.
illegally street racing, but it's fun because it's a video game. Just like, did you play Burnout Paradise at all? I think they're in the same wheelhouse.
No, no, Burnout
They're cool.
was not Burnout did not make it into my household.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it because you're not cool enough?
I mean, it's definitely because I'm not cool enough. I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like that's well established.
Yeah, take me down to the Paradise City where the grass is green, the girls are pretty, Austin. That's Paradise City. That song plays when you boot up that game. It's
Yeah.
amazing. But
Okay.
yeah. But Need for Speed and Hot Pursuit's like also in the same type of game that Forza Horizon is, where it's just open world shenanigans and you have your races and you're getting new cars as well. It's that whole genre of open world racing games.
Cool. I imagine people who like this will be very happy.
I'm very happy. I got some news for you, Austin. Mass Effect Legendary
Oh
Edition.
God! Don't
It's
drag
coming
me
out,
into
but not in
this.
2020.
Don't act like
Bring
this
this
is for
article from
me.
VentureBeat. Now this is all for you, Austin.
This isn't. Don't act like this is. They're doing this for me. You put
Uh-huh.
this in here because you want me to be happy.
I guess you got Mass Effect on PC already.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I do. I mean, the thing with Mass Effect, I don't think I like it anymore.
Really, what happened?
I
Take me on a
I replayed these games in like June through July, and like I remember as a kid, I was obsessed with Mass Effect in a
yeah.
real way. Like this is like Mass Effect was the game, was like the property I let define me as like a person because I didn't have a personality
Oh yeah.
or
I've done that before.
experiences to form one because I was such a sheltered child. Um, so I played like Mass Effect 1 a lot, and I remember like as a kid always thinking like, oh wow, like, they have some racists in here, but they're fairly nuanced takes on them that are hard to discover. Because it's like not until like your fourth like talk through with Ashley that she like brings up the fact that she's a horrible space racist
Yeah,
on the Normandy.
whenever I had those people, I wouldn't put them in my party or interact with
Yeah,
them at
but
all.
like
Because
the thing is,
there's some other good stuff that's not
yeah,
them.
but the thing is like
Yeah.
as soon as you're on the Citadel, I went and talked to Ashley like just randomly, and the first thing she said was, I can't tell the aliens apart from the animals," and I was like, okay,
Someone shouldn't be writing characters like this.
yeah,
Write it a little better.
you're
That's just the
a bit.
first game, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's in the first game, but I was just like, "Oh, wow, I was an idiot as a kid.
Yeah,
I could get
there's a
them at
lot of
all."
really good writing in Mass Effect, and there's some really bad writing in Mass
Yeah,
Effect.
but I just like, well, I mean, most of it's pretty bad.
Yeah,
I
I can't
just
remember a lot of it. I just remember the gameplay. The
it's like I sat
gameplay.
through like these 3 games, and I was trying to like I was waiting for the point in time when like Mass Effect would do the thing that I like doing in Mass
Yeah,
Effect, which is like hanging out with my pals, and that
yeah.
didn't really happen until like the Citadel DLC.
Huh. I feel
Um,
like me hanging out with my homies was I would just bring the same two people with my missions and do missions with them. Like kind of the Mass Effect, mostly Mass Effect 2 or Mass
yeah.
Effect 1 where I'm hanging out with, my Krogan boy, Rex. Shepard! Hello, Shepard! It's good to see you, Shepard. You're
Yeah,
my
like
best friend, Shepard.
Rex was good.
Rex is so good.
I think
Garrus
like
is really good. I
mm,
like Garrus.
Garrus is just a real piece of work.
Yeah.
His like his whole thing is that like he doesn't like having to work like around civil liberties at
Yeah.
the top, and so he decides to go off to Omega and just shoot criminals without having to worry about being being called a criminal himself.
Yeah, that trope is he just became the Punisher. Let's get real about this. That's a trope in media.
Yeah, and so he goes through the same arc in Mass Effect 1 and 2 where he's just like, I don't know if criminals deserve to have rights.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They all figure it out when the Reapers show up and nobody worries about that stuff anymore.
Yeah, once the Reapers show up, he's just like an elite military agent, and it's just like, okay, we abandoned that whole part of Garrus' character.
Yeah, and I don't know anything about Mass Effect 3, so that whole thing is a blank space for me.
Mass Effect 3 is like, it was such a 2012 thing because they redid so much, like they redefined the look of the default female Shepard face. Like
Okay.
they gave her a lot more makeup. They gave her longer hair. They do the same thing with Ashley Williams. If you let her live, which I don't know why
Oh
you
yeah,
would.
I remember that. Yeah, just hey, it gives you two choices in Mass Effect 1. Do you let Ashley live, or do you let your mechanic live? I don't remember. What's his name?
Kate.
Jacob?
No, his name is Caden.
Caden. Yeah.
Caden is not a mechanic. He's a traumatized
Oh,
biotic
oh, is he a
who was
doctor?
raised by the military. He's just he's a soldier. He's your second in command on
Oh,
the
okay.
Normandy. Within like the fiction of Mass Effect 1.
Gosh, I never hang out with him either. I only hung out with aliens when I was playing Mass Effect, so
Well,
I was like,
he's not given and much to work with in Mass Effect 1 if you're not like femshep, because you can't
yeah.
romance him as a dude in Mass Effect
Oh,
1. You
yeah.
can in 3.
Yeah.
In 3 they do a thing like with Caden, and only Caden, where like he realizes that he's really attracted to Shepard
Mm,
regardless of their gender.
mm.
Um
That's a
which
decision.
which is not something, I mean, no, it's great. Like I think personally like it's a great thing to do
Okay.
with that character because it makes sense in like a sci-fi galaxy that is just like post like race, like post gender enough,
Yeah.
right? Because in Mass Effect, people are mostly defined like when you talk about people, like people don't talk about David Anderson as being who's like David Anderson's like your mentor character who you take the Normandy from at the
Mm,
beginning of Mass Effect 1. People don't talk about Anderson as a black man in Mass Effect. They talk about him as being from London more than they do like his experience like as a black man. He's like that is something that's more defining in that universe
yeah.
than your skin color.
Yeah, which I'm glad they deal with that in that way because that's how it should be. Is they talk about people as what they've done and what
Yeah.
achievements they've had, and
Yeah, so like
Him being a British, space commander.
yeah, so the idea of like Caden like getting to a point where he's like, yeah, like I'm really attracted to you, and like and like being like okay with that is interesting. It's like they give him in 3. They don't do the same for Ashley.
No,
Uh,
she
it's
doesn't
like
have a redemption arc, does she? I mean,
no,
she
no,
probably does have a little one, but I don't know.
she's useless and terrible the entire time
Can't
in
you just
that.
side with her and be an asshole also?
You could. I don't think the game actually lets you like take any action, like any different actions in that way. Like they don't let you be like act on racism in Mass Effect.
Yeah, but I remember you can get in some conversations where you agree with her when she makes
Yeah.
some comment about it, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, like you can
Okay,
definitely like
okay,
Effect
game,
1
don't do that for me. But
do that.
I I got the PS3 Mass Effect Trilogy, and then I didn't end up playing it, and I gave it to my friend. So I want to replay these games too, 'cause
Yeah.
fond memories are nice. The writing probably hasn't aged well in certain
I
places, like you were
yeah,
saying, but
yeah, I can't
that
imagine.
music, that Citadel music,
Yeah, it's fine.
synthy.
Um like the direction the music took across like the Mass Effect trilogy is like really disappointing to me.
Oh yeah, I have
Uh,
vivid memories of liking the first game a lot, and the second game was all right.
yeah, like the soundtrack of the first game is, I think, genuinely great. Like the direction that they took in like Mass Effect 2 and 3 would never have allowed for like a song like Vigil to exist within that game's score. And Vigil is like that song that like that they use in every piece of marketing at the end of every Mass Effect trailer these days. It's a pretty iconic thing. It's like it's that slow little piece that plays once you launch the Mass Effect one main menu.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
It's a pretty great
yeah,
track. But like
and
I can't imagine wanting to replay these games just on consoles now, especially since like it doesn't seem like they're going to support the multiplayer for 3 on here, or at least that's what Grubb speculates at near the bottom of his write up here. Is EA
mhm.
doesn't plan to include the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer in this package.
Yeah,
And that
which is
multiplayer is still awesome.
yeah, I've kept hearing good things about it. I love playing weird games that have like I love playing campaign-based games that have just a multiplayer kicked into it. BioShock 2, Last of Us, Uncharted.
Yeah. Like
Maybe does Mass Effect 3's multiplayer, does it work on PC right
it
now?
still works on PC.
All right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's hey, no, if you can run it, like we can
Mhm.
play it. I can re-download Mass Effect
Yeah,
2, 3. I'll
maybe
just have to
it's
get rid of some mods that make that game huge.
yeah.
Which is the other thing. I can't imagine playing the Mass Effect games without like the mods have installed
Oh
currently.
yeah. It sounds like the PC mod, unless they actually put some nice mods into it. I can't think of EA's track record with re-putting out games except for Need for Speed and Burnout right now.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see if they put any work into it to make the lighting or the engine different. I'm sure it'll just be a 60 frames per second, and we have this thing running like an emulator equivalent, but depends what EA feels about Mass Effect these
Well, it sounds
days.
like if we take like if we were to take like Jeff Grubb's write up here on GamesBeat, sounds like the thing holding back development on this trilogy is like specifically the work that's being put into the original Mass Effect.
The first one, yeah.
Yeah, to like make it play to like update its gameplay to work better in conjunction with like Mass Effect 2 and 3. And I'm not like particularly against Mass Effect 1's gameplay. I think it's fine, all things considered. I think you probably really only need to update enemy AI
Yeah,
because they just charge at you all the time. So
they
taking
do.
cover in Mass Effect 1 is completely useless.
Like all those canine type like alien animals that'll just run at you. Oh
Well, it's more
gosh.
like Krogan just come at you like nobody's
Yeah.
business. Human soldiers like will just start shooting at you and just run around you and flank your
Yeah.
cover all the time, and you don't move fast enough to really do much about it.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that when this comes out, you can still play your PC versions and then have your Legendary Edition PC version. So I
Yeah,
still
like
want to play Mass Effect 1 without having gameplay updates because it's silly
like
having
I'll
gameplay
still
stuff.
own like the versions I have. Like I'll still be able to install a lot, which is the upgraded texture pack, which like makes the file sizes huge, but like is pretty well worth it for the update look. And then like the bigger mods that come into Mass Effect 3, because that's where like all the mods are for Mass Effect in a real way, is in 3, because that's where that modding scene started.
Yeah.
Was in response to the ending of Mass Effect 3, people started like trying to mod in their own ending. And
Oh.
that's how you wind up getting like people who end up making things like the expanded galaxy mod for Mass Effect 3 that like makes the galaxy map and like the war that's going on far more interactive and a bigger part of your general experience in Mass Effect 3.
That sounds like the better way to play Mass Effect 3, honestly.
It is. I went through it like part of why it took me so long to get through the Mass Effect games was because I had to keep like pausing like my playthrough to be like, okay, I need to install this mod, this mod, this mod, this mod. For as I went on, because you need to install controller mod for every port of Mass Effect that's on PC right now.
Mhm.
Um, But like once it got to 3, it was like, okay, you can install mod that like makes Omega a hub area. You can install the expanded galaxy mod, like series of mods, because it's not just like one mod. It's like your updated galaxy map. You can get companions from Mass Effect 2 into your party for specific missions specifically because of Citadel. Because they can show up in your party if you do the arena that comes with that DLC. So now you can just kind of have like a system that lets you bring in like 2 companions
Yeah,
from Mass Effect 2 to just go on missions with you in 3. And they don't talk, of course, but it's fun to play around with them.
cool. All right, well, I'm gonna move on to this next one. Is the Cyberpunk 2077 is getting on to they made a promise when they were doing their advertising stuff about the game and talking about it that they wouldn't crunch, but it looks like they're gonna have crunch until November 19th release for 6 days a week. I think
Yeah.
you kind of know more about this than I do. You want to get
Yeah.
into it?
So first of all, like I want to shout out like Taylor Lyles for this write up here.
Yeah,
Because this is a pretty great write up that like is like
from The
it
Verge.
yeah, from The Verge, that is like sassy in all the ways that like you should be about things like this. Like there's like sassy like holds him accountable for this. In a way, because like um there's a specific thing here when it comes to like earlier, because back in January, CD Projekt said that they were going to end up crunching anyway, right? And
Mm.
there's this really good sentence here talking about that. As Polygon notes, when asked whether the development team would be quotes required to put in crunch hours in quotes during an investor call in January, CD Projekt CEO Adam Kaninsky, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, answered yes, suggesting that it was somehow out of his hands. We try to limit crunch as much as possible, but it is the final stage. We try to be reasonable in this regard, but yes, unfortunately, in quotes. Um, like Taylor is sufficiently just like, yeah, like these are excuses that are being tossed at you, and they're not doing much to justify why they're going into crunch.
Yeah, and
Uh,
Schreier interviewed Iwinski. So I'm going to summarize this really fast. So Jason's like, if a designer at CD Projekt Red would say, I have kids and a family, I'm going to work from 10 to 6 every day, and that's it, even at the very end. Am I going to be okay with that? And Iwinski's like, yes, yes. And Jason's like, no matter what. And he's like, yes. Jason's like, so you can commit to that. And he says, we have committed to that. And that was from 2019.
yeah, that was in
So
like Schreier's like 2019 like piece on
yeah,
Bloomberg.
so it sounds like people should have the option for it not to be mandatory, but I think as of now it is mandatory crunch, right?
Well, it's like yeah, like right now it's mandatory 6-day work weeks for crunch. And like the thing is even saying that like we have a non-mandatory crunch policy is such a cop out, because
Yeah.
like this is not crunch as like a personal choice. This is crunch as like a system within a company. Like they are going to take note, and people do, and studios do this, developers do this. They take note of who is not working like during non-mandatory crunch, right? Like who is not doing non-mandatory crunch work. And
Yeah.
that does affect how they treat people like within studios. To
Yeah.
say that like having like a non-mandatory crunch policy is enough is naive at best. Um, so like yeah, they are going back on like what they said they were going to do. They went back on this back in January, and the fact that they are doing this now is not surprising. It is definitely disappointing in a real way. But like they were always going to do this. I don't think there's ever not going to be a way in Cyberpunk's development where it's like, oh, we didn't do like a ridiculous amount of crunch. Because CD Projekt has like historically been pretty bad at managing projects, and Cyberpunk does not look like it's going to be. It has so far has not been an exception to the rule.
Yeah, because November 17th is about a month and a week away. It did go gold. I saw that, but they still have stuff they're working on right now, I believe. And then after the game comes out, they have to, they're. I don't know if they're gonna let people take a break when it comes out, and then maybe they'll have a different set of people working on the bug fixes and stuff. Because I know a lot of studios tend to work on a game after it comes out.
My mic. Yeah, we don't know. I think they've stated previously that like they do have like a few week breaks after like the release of certain games, but I'm not that important to me in a real way. Like the damage that this will like cause to people's like health and work life balance will have been done by then.
Yeah, that's true. So crunch is rough. I hope companies stop doing it. I know it's not just video games that do it, but even then, it's such a weird thing because games are such a hard thing, and there's so many people working on them. But there's a way to not crunch. Just
No, it's just project
release your game
management.
later. I don't know, but I don't know.
Like like the biggest problem that like Naughty Dog has with like crunch is that they don't hire producers. They don't have people to manage their projects in that way. And most studios, if they have them, they don't seem to be particularly good because crunch is not rare. Crunch has been a thing that the game industry has had going on for decades. At this point, it is a problem at like the very like foundation of like how we make and market video games in a real way.
Yeah, and these games are making so much money that I know if they're missing their November because they already pushed it out once. They should, instead of doing crunch, they should really just push these out.
Well, what does like we've never had like an actual example where like pushing for a delay was going to significantly reduce the crunch hours people work
Yeah,
because they just work longer crunch periods when they
yeah,
delay
that's true.
because now they're like trying to be accountable to like shareholders and investors,
Yeah.
and they want to do everything they can to ensure that they don't have to push it back again.
So crunch sucks. Companies shouldn't crunch. I'm really glad there's people out there who are reporting on it and making people know about it when it happens, because that's the most they can do until it changes.
Yeah, I mean, on the outside, it's about all you can do. I mean, the only thing that I could, again, is just people need to unionize.
Yeah.
Like collective action is a thing that like we need to understand is necessary in this kind of industry to make sure that working conditions are fine for everyone or good for everyone.
Yeah, and it's rough sometimes because a lot of these game companies aren't just in America; they're in a lot of different countries. I mean, obviously they have unions too, but hey, that should get done. All right. Any more thoughts on the CD Project Red crunch?
Uh, Not really. I mean, this is just like another entry in the list of like bummers around like Cyberpunk's whole deal. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I hope by the time they're putting their next game out, they'll do something different. So I guess we'll go into the lightning round. We got a couple quick news hits here. Is that Resident Evil Village could come to PS4 and Xbox One, and I don't know if it's been developed the same for PS4 and Xbox One, but if it does come out on that, I'd be interested in playing it. I like Resident Evil 4 a lot, and I think the Capcom still makes good games. And Werewolves, I'm ready for Werewolves.
Yeah. The only thing I wonder is like if this has a VR functionality to it, like
Oh,
7 did,
yeah,
is like would VR work on PS4?
yeah. Lots of questions about it. I guess when the stuff starts coming out for it, we'll see. And then Apex Legends is getting their crossplay on October 6th for a beta, which will make that game interesting. I've always been curious about how PC crossplay works with consoles. Like if you're just playing with people with controllers and they section off the mouse and keyboard people.
Yeah, like I know in Warzone it has some crossplay. Like it will tell you, or like Warzone and like more like solidly, like Halo, uh, Master Chief Collection. It will tell you if like the people you're playing against are using like a controller or a keyboard or mouse.
Okay, that's cool. I make those Apex Legends servers bigger. I keep thinking about getting back in Apex Legends, but Battle Royales are rough. And I think I actually might mess around with Fortnite and do the third person Apex or the third
Yeah,
person Battle Royale stuff.
yeah, and I think like Fortnite just seems like chiller in a real way.
Yeah, you can get real sweaty in Apex and get real angry, but the and there's a lot more people playing Fortnite. And I think you can get into games where the skill difference, there's a lot wider skill difference in Fortnite.
Yeah, and that mostly comes with like building, people who are proficient at building,
Yeah, that's true.
which is a part of Fortnite I could never.
No, but a lot of
Could
people
never.
just build small stuff as cover until the last round.
Yeah.
Getting sweaty.
But
NHL 94 Rewind is a pre-order bonus for NHL 21. Those really pixelated Super Nintendo NHL games and basketball and baseball games are hilarious to me. And I would love to play that without having to pre-order NHL 21, but I think that's neat that they're putting it in there.
yeah, I like older sports games like do have like a charm to them that I don't see, like you don't see in modern ones because they're all about, uh simulating like the real thing. Like the only fun I ever had in like a hockey game I think was like in a 2000, like a 2002, 2003 hockey game. And that was just because like if you hit a dude enough in the ring, it would turn into a fighting game.
Oh yes, I know the one you're talking about. That's very
Yeah.
gloves off. Hey man, gloves off. Get
Yeah, my
into some
siblings
real
weren't
stuff.
great at the fighting game part of it. And as a kid, I was pretty good.
Damn.
So I just beat people up when they were when that sequence would come. They were like, "Austin, here's the controller. Beat this guy up." And I'd be like,
Damn,
"Heck
you got this, bro. That's pretty funny. I have to try him one time. Yo, Minecraft Steve's and Smash Brothers, I guess. And
yes,
they brought his stage too.
yes, yes, yes."
Since I think this news article from Newsbreak was saying it took him about 5 years to get him on there since they put Minecraft on a Nintendo console, I guess. Oh,
Yeah,
Minecraft, Microsoft and Nintendo have been talking about Steve and
yeah,
Smash Brothers for about 5 years. That's what it was.
yeah. So like Daniel Kaplan on Twitter was like, "Oh no, this is at least 5 years to get to get through this like whole like thing from like starting from talks to getting Steve in Minecraft actually."
That's funny.
Uh, it's it's dope. Like the trailer for that is actually really fun.
Really, I haven't seen the
Um,
trailer. What?
yeah, well, the trailer starts with like Mario just getting kicked out of the stage and then like blasted through a Minecraft like wall
Oh,
as he like
hmm,
looks on in horror at like everything in it. Like Steve comes in. It's like this like supposed to be like a scary thing, and they just like he just eats steak while
damn.
Mario stares at him. It's pretty funny. The whole trailer, the final smash for Steve looks great. For I should say for Minecraft, Steve, Alex, the zombie, and an Enderman.
Yeah,
Um,
Steve and Alex rock the block. That's what it said when he came up. Okay, I'm watching this. Mario is very scared and it's spooky,
yeah.
and then Steve's just eating that. He's just jumping. Oh my god, this stage looks great. God, I need to buy this character. I haven't bought any DLC characters for
Have you
Smash.
have you seen what Kirby looks like when he eats Steve?
No, is it terrifying?
It is the most beautiful thing I have ever seen.
I'm looking at this Enderman picking up this box and looking at Solid Snake. It's very funny. Ah, where's Kirby at? Come on. Oh, there it is. Oh, that's so weird.
It is the most beautiful, like, because this is an audio format, Kirby eats Minecraft Steve and Kirby becomes a cube.
As
And
one does.
it
Oh
is
gosh.
it is beautiful, and
This is some Roblox shit right here.
I want to protect them.
Yeah, I want a plushie of fucking Minecraft
Just
Kirby.
an
It's just a
oddly
square instead of a
angry.
circle. Give it to me.
Yeah. They're
All right, the next
so
one that came up is
good.
okay, so Among Us has been really popular among streamers. I think it came out initially a year or two ago. They were planning on a
Yeah,
sequel,
came out in
but the game
2018.
got really big. So it was released in 2018, and the game started getting really big. Like I was watching Shroud on Twitch play it. So instead of making a sequel, they're going to do all the content from Among Us 2 into Among Us 1.
Yeah, which is, man, game development's weird, you know? Like, the fact that this game has been out for 2 years and has, like, just recently found, like, an audience.
Hey, Twitch breathes new life into games that really hasn't been seen before, like YouTube or
Yeah.
that
I mean,
kind of stuff.
I really wanna, like, find, like, the first, like, I wanna, like, somehow find a way to, like, track this movement of, like, Among Us becoming very popular and, like, find, like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
Because the first time I heard about it was a friend at my D&D game was like, "I really wanna play Among Us with y'all," and we didn't know what that was.
Hmm. Yeah, it's cool.
Um,
You know, it's kind of like an Avalon or like there's some city game where you are trying to find out who the traders are and stuff. Very fun. Very fun. All right, man. Last story is that they changed Peter Parker's face.
uh, look at how they massacred my boy.
Yeah, yeah. He his face is smoother and younger. He I guess he went to a doctor and they helped him out. It
It
looks
is
weird. His eyebrows
so
are different. His
yeah,
nose is different. His mouth is smaller. His hair is like looks like the guy from he looks like Tom Holland more. I don't
yeah,
know.
it's like I can't imagine this was done because like the original voice because the reasoning that like Brian Antahar, creative head lead on this project, or I think at Insomniac in general, said is that like they wanted to get like a better facial capture to fit Yuri Lowenthal's
Yeah.
performance.
So they went
I
with John Bubniak originally, and they changed it to Ben Jordan.
yeah.
And because they want, I guess they want to go forward with Ben Jordan for the sequels as well as the remaster.
I mean, definitely, right? Like, this is going to be what Peter looks like in the next Spider-Man game. This is probably going to be what Peter looks like in Avengers.
Yeah. How is he gonna be? God damn it! I don't even want to think about Spider-Man and Avengers right now.
Yeah,
Oof. Yeah,
it's
it's a weird thing to. It's. I feel like they're doing the George Lucas thing and changing their thing after it already came out.
I mean, like, yeah, that that's technically like what actually is happening. It's just it's such a strange choice. Um, like I, the best thing I think I got from this was like a tweet that was like, imagine waking up one morning and your agent calls you to tell you that your face is not good enough for next gen. Um, because that's basically what happened here with John. Um, I don't know. It's weird. I don't have like strong feelings about it. I don't think I like it.
Yeah.
Um, there's like something scary to be said about like the impermanence of work done in games
Yeah.
regarding this, but it's just all in all, it's weird.
Yeah, it's because it's not like when you have a movie come out, they don't change the actor's face for stuff.
Yeah, I
But
really
I
just
don't know. I like original Peter better. He's got his weird hair. I would change the hair, but everything else on him is fine.
yeah. I mean, like this hair is a bit better because I can imagine someone like having this haircut and while like constantly like putting their head under like a really tight mask like Spider-Man's
Yeah.
more so than the original.
Yeah, because his original hair, if you haven't seen it, it's just poofy, and his eyebrows look like caterpillars. It's my hot take.
It's just I don't know. It's an odd choice that I don't necessarily believe some of the reasoning that they threw at us. I'm not angry about it though.
Yeah, there's
I,
a lot. There's so many more things to be angry about that's going
I'm not
on.
gonna send Brian death threats.
It's fine. They're video games. Spider-Man looks cool. Oh my god. This
Yeah, like
the PS5 photo mode though.
God,
Oh,
I
I'm just
can't.
thinking about that right now. I can't. All right.
The thing about the photo mode Spider-Man was always that at no point could I make something in that photo mode that would look nearly as good as like the loading screens you get.
That's true. That's true.
Um, but who knows with PS5 with the power of the PlayStation
Oh
5,
yeah, with the power of the fifth cell processor.
who knows what you can
Yeah,
make.
they're not putting a cell processor in there. I'm joking, but all right. I think I'm about wrapping this up. Man, Austin, second episode, pretty fun. Thanks for joining me. Where
That's
can
always
people
a
find you
pleasure.
at, Austin?
You can find me on the Twitter at beardless2.
Yes.
TWO, not the number 2.
Nice. And I'm at Travis23 Doyle. And this podcast is going up on YouTube, Google Play. It's on Anchor FM and Spotify. And yet again, I'm going to ask y'all again, we have an email section that could come up here. So if y'all have any questions or just want to ask us stuff, let us know. It's at thirdcoastgamingradio@gmail.com. Thanks, y'all. Have a good one.